Alright, well, this is going to be quite interesting. Very dusty in this little workshop. Doing lots of sanding to get all these pentagons nice and etc., and lots of cutting, and there's dust everywhere. And as we all know, MDF, poison, formaldehyde, cancer, death. So the least amount of dust floating around and lying all over the place, the better. So what most places have got, decent workshops, is a ShopVac. I don't have a shop vacuum in this storage slash workshop slash little tiny cupboard area. So I was quite fortunate to hear yesterday that my folks have upgraded their vacuum cleaner and they've had this little Genesis spare. The reason they upgraded it was because its capacity was very small and it's got lots of fiddly little filters and etc. to clean out, and it's just a pain in the butt. Apparently it clogs up very quickly, but it's got a 2000 watt motor, which is quite strong. So what I thought was, kind of convert this into a ShopVac, use this basically as the motor and use another container as the main catchment thing. So quite fortunate, found this in the storeroom around the back, a big bucket. And the interesting thing about the bucket is that it's already got a hole where I can just plug the suction from that straight in. So no modifications required. In fact, I bought little bits and bobs to cut into a bucket and make a plan. But with this bucket, it's not necessary. It basically plugs right in. Then I got all these other little jobbies for fitment and grommets and etc. Because the idea is that you take a bucket like this, you drill a hole through there, you put in one of these fitment pipe, plumbing pipe fitments in. So you cut a hole in the side, you put this in at an angle so that it sucks, it causes a Venturi sort of cyclone effect inside there, and then you suck it out the top, and the idea is that the pressure inside here drops so low that the particles just drop to the bottom and stay, they don't get sucked out the top. So then I thought to myself, okay, well, before I cut this out and waste a bucket, let me just go and check on an old machine. This is an old burnt out vacuum, and I thought, well, let's have a look, how do they do it? And sure as shit, they've got a little angle here to cause this circulation, and the suction is from the top. Then I thought, because I got the pipes for this and I was going to use those to mount onto here. Then I thought, hey, hang on a minute, what is the chance that the lid for this would fit on here? What are the chances that they are the right size diameter? So I gave it a bash, and lo and behold, it could not be more perfect. How's that? So I don't need to cut this bucket up, that can be kept for another project. This bucket works perfectly, so literally I have to do nothing. That will plug directly into this like that, and I get to use this pipe in here as it was intended, and boom, an instant tidy ShopVac without having to stuff anything up and modify and glue and etc. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. And the way that things work in life, if everything just falls into place, it means that whatever you're doing which is in accordance with your meant to be doing destiny path, or whatever you want to call it. If you got to fight for something, like for example, if nothing worked here, if everything, the glue didn't set and the pipes were the wrong size and they kept breaking, as is often the case with things that we do in life, then you got to relook whether what you're doing is the right thing or not. And in this case, MegaVac merges perfectly with Genesis 2000 watt power, beautiful on wheels, small, compact for this place. It makes sense. Color coded to match the beautiful scheme. Not this yellow was a little bit bright and a little bit loud and a little bit. That is a nice blend of red and black, and it just looks so good. So I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to see if it works, and we'll see. We'll pick up some of this dust. And the idea is that even if this doesn't collect all of the dust, if it's just 90 or 80% of the dust, the over suck will go into here and then get caught by that, and that won't have to be emptied that often. That'll just have to be emptied every now and again. So without further ado, let me plug it all in and see what the result is. But that's just such a pleasant surprise for this glorious day, the first day of sunshine after a week of pretty wet and cloudy and cold weather. Right, well, I've just given it a bash. I've done a quite extensive vacuum behind the old table saw that was largely clogged up with lots of sawdust and etc. I just did a pretty preliminary test suck, and it actually works pretty darn well. Got a lot of sucking power. Let it go right in there. Suck all this stuff out. Stuff that hasn't been cleaned in ages. Alright. So, how much stayed in there and how much went into here? Alright, a fair amount got through here. But let's have a look at how much got trapped in here. I'd say a whole lot more. Here we go. So it works as a dust trap. I mean, it would. It should. So there we go. A cheap and effective little ShopVac. The only downside to the whole exercise is that I wasted about $50 buying these things before checking how parts would have fitted without having to make any modifications. That's the only downside, but these will get used for something in the future. I'll just get added to the goodies jar. But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. Now I can organize this place and have it dust free and clean.